Hello and welcome to the Awkward Interviews with Allison from the Face of the Sun, also known as Texas, where we're going to talk with Elisa, the knitting fairy, about her classes that she's going to be doing for us in September, starting with the
yoke sweaters.
yoke sweaters.
Starting with yoke sweaters.
Starting with yoke sweaters. So this is a big long class.
It is a big long class. It's a two-parter.
Right.
So 6 hours.
Yes. Because
it's a thing. So we're going to talk about how the sweaters are actually constructed. I guess I should look at them. We're going to talk about how the sweaters are actually constructed, but then we're also going to talk about all the different options that you have. So like these both have lace, but they have different increase patterns. And so there's the very basic option of just increasing in tiers. You can increase in wedges and swirls, and we talk about all of those options. We talk about how to size it to yourself, where to measure. We talk about gauge. We talk about pretty much everything we can to give you the skills that you need to go home and knit a sweater for yourself. We're not knitting a sweater in class. You can knit your gauge swatch in class.
And they will knit a gauge
And
swatch.
you can knit a gauge swatch. We'll do some theoretical knitting. We'll do, and people get scared of the math. But honestly, if you can go to the grocery store and you can say, I'm going to buy this size of detergent instead of this one because this one is 5.2 cents per ounce and this one is 7.3 cents per ounce, you can do this class.
So I put this, Elisa made this sweater and she had samples that she brought, and I never wear a yoke sweater. I don't. I have previously been categorically opposed to them because of the way they fit me.
But she likes that
but
one.
this one's really great.
She put it on and I said, Allison, look at you.
Right, it fits. Also, it could just be that I've been trying to use a pattern.
It could be.
Instead of trying to make a sweater for Allison, and I'm not really constitutionally capable of following a pattern well. So that's never really going to go right.
I'm never going to follow a pattern as written.
So
never.
Gonna go rogue in the first 15, 20 minutes. I'm already figuring out where I'm gonna go rogue. But if
I go rogue with a plan from the start. I'm not doing it.
Right, yeah, I'm just gonna acknowledge and live my truth.
Right.
I'm gonna live my knitting truth and knit for myself. But look at this, it looks so good.
It does look good. The sleeve length is nice on you. It just.
And it's not weird here.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
It's those increases there.
I know, and this style of increase is more emphasis in the chest than this one. Because for a long time I didn't wear yoke sweaters because I'm busty, and I didn't want to emphasize the fact that I'm busty, and I felt like this was just like flashing neon sign, and so I didn't do it. And because I was asked to teach this class years ago for Fiberfest.
In the before times.
In the before times, yeah, long time ago. I actually designed the class for Fiberfest years ago, maybe close to a decade ago. I know, right? And we haven't done it since.
Time is not real. It's not real.
It's a silly thing.
Yeah.
It's
Days
like
are long
age.
and years are short.
That's right.
They fly.
Yep. So we have 2 lace sweaters on, but you can do something like this style of an increase that's really plain. This is a plain sweater, but it has the wedge, like pie wedge increase. Can you see it? Ah, there, look, you can see it better now. Anyway, and I put texture, just knit and purl at the bottom, not ribbing, because I don't need anything that pulls in around my tush. I live in Texas, I don't need to keep the heat in.
No, this is cotton and
Cotton, this one's cotton
nice
linen,
summer sweater.
cotton acrylic. Nice summer sweaters. I have one that is done in a swirl pattern, and again, a nice plain, easy, beginner friendly, but it has more of a swirl increase. But then I put crazy lace at the bottom because I could. And it's easier to incorporate the lace when you don't have any shaping, and you don't have shaping at the bottom of your sweater. So it's a good place to try out a thing you want to try.
Right. And lace, it's yarn overs and knit togethers and knitting, just like all the other places you're yarning over.
Right,
and
if you can
knitting.
do the grandmother's favorite dishcloth, you've got it.
Right. It's not a scary thing, it's just a beautiful thing.
No, and they can be really, really simple. This is just yarn over and knit 2 together all the way around.
And
There's no, all you need is an even number of stitches. Yarn over and knit 2 together around. There's no mystery there. And then I did one in color work because I could.
with all your
Isn't that
little
cool?
increases hidden in there too.
All the increases are all worked in. And we talk in class about waist shaping, what it is, where to use it, how to use it. We talk about ease, positive ease versus negative ease. I am not a small human. And one of the things I find is that when you get above an XL, written patterns are usually not written by people who are above an XL.
Right. And they write them and then they scale them.
They do. They
And
scale
sometimes
them.
they're tested well, and
But most of the time I find those patterns, I'm uncomfortable with the size of the sleeve. I have larger upper arms, I'm uncomfortable with the size of the sleeve. So even like I knitted the Sinister Cats pattern, which I love, that cardigan, but the sleeves are tight. Even in all of the Ravelry notes, it says the sleeves are really tight. And so I used the same idea. It's got a big yoke with color work cats across the top of it, and then it's a plain body, plain sleeves. And so I used the pattern to a point, because constitutionally incapable of following a pattern as written, and I changed how many stitches went into the sleeve. Because I know how yoke sweaters are constructed, I made a bigger yoke and put all the extras into the sleeve. So I could use the same knowledge, but apply it to somebody else's written pattern. So it's not even just knitting your own design, it's understanding how they work so you can modify it to what works for you.
And that's really the trick. I had pretty much given up on knitting sweaters because every time I knitted a sweater, it looked terrible. I didn't, that's probably not true. I didn't like the way it looked on me. And that was when
She rips more than any human I know.
I do rip out a lot. I do. It's true. And I would rather rip it out 32 times like I did on that.
You won't wear it if you don't like it.
I won't wear it if I don't like it. And why would I have it sitting in anyway? And I'm not giving away a sweater. I'm not. If I'm going to do that much knitting, it's for me.
Yep. I've lost 70 pounds. I still wear the sweaters. They're just bigger now. I can wear them with leggings if I want.
Right. And
Oversized is a thing.
I'm a slow knitter. So I'm not going to give up the time. But I took a class with Elisa at a guild because I had just, like, I'm not going to do sweaters. It's just not for me. I'm not doing them. Then I took the class with the guild because everybody was doing it. It was a lot
Your
of
community.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a community thing.
And yeah, I went way off book, but I went off book bravely because at every point Elisa would go along and say, and if you want this, then that, do these things.
And I don't go away. I do travel a lot, but if you email me after class and you're like, hey, Elisa, can you look at this? Tell me what I did. I'll answer you if I can.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But just hearing the how it worked, there are so many little things that have applied in other projects, not just that one sweater, because I felt like I learned how to fish for sweaters that, like, where you teach a man to fish.
Right.
Right. That kind of learning, you really get that in a sweater class with Elisa in a way that I'm not going to get off of a YouTube tutorial or even a very, very well-written pattern that has lots of options in it. It's not going to explain to me why that.
Oh, and that's the thing I know about
works.
you. You need the why.
I do need the why.
She needs the why.
But even if you don't need the why in your everyday life, a lot of us do better if we understand the underlying principle. And when I take a class with you, you tell that principle 45 different ways in the class without making anybody in the class feel like it was repetitive or
a dumb question.
Or a dumb question, or every question really is a good question because
no dumb questions.
It often answers questions people didn't realize that they had in class.
Yep. Or that somebody sitting next to you was also thinking and not brave enough to say.
Right.
That happens a lot.
And I don't mind being bad at something new or sounding ridiculous.
Thank goodness,
clearly.
neither do I. I'm pretty good at failing.
Right, failing forward. That's how I'm looking to grow. But if you're a little bit reticent about taking a whole long day class and you think, no, I don't know if I can really commit to the sweater. If you think you would like to, or you would like to improve your understanding of the knitting as you're doing it, you will get so much out of a class.
Even if yoke sweaters aren't your thing, like you thought they weren't, right? You thought they weren't your thing, but fit, shaping, gauge, options, sleeve shaping, all of that is stuff we talk about, and they apply to any sweater. It doesn't matter if you're knitting for a Barbie doll or, you know,
a little child or a
Babar
teddy
the
bear.
elephant. Babar has shape. We all have shape. We have a shape. I'm round.
Right, none of us is a flat Stanley.
No.
Usually.
Not usually. I have been.
Right, and that's a story for another day.
Different day.
I have watched you change the way an entire sweater fits by the neckline you put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to talk about, because this one doesn't have
No yoke, no anything.
No nothing.
No
And
nothing. This one does because it was too big.
Right.
It was too big when I put it. The neckline is an after addition to help pull it together. Yeah.
Brought it up so that it wasn't like.
So it wasn't.
So it wasn't the fit I would have probably
flash
picked.
dance off the shoulder. You know, I'm a kid of the '80s.
Right.
It's a thing.
But the cleavage flash in the middle of class, maybe.
I do have a thing. I like my sweaters to be a little higher necked. Mm-hmm. Although there are ways to do yoke sweaters that have lower. You don't like a tight neck. And
no, that's why this one feels so good.
Yeah, I think it's a nice height for you. But yeah, if you don't like super high necks, there's options. You don't have to do a really high neck sweater like the wintry one, the color work one. This is a high. Well, it's a winter sweater. For starters, it's a winter sweater.
For 2 weeks of winter on non-consecutive days, or for when she's traveling around the world. Where you have a big, like, cold weather.
I have two colder weather, although Europe is currently in a heat wave, so that sucks.
Right.
I'm leaving for Europe in a couple of weeks to teach on the British Isles cruise. I'm so excited. It's only been delayed 3 times for COVID, so I'm really super excited to finally get to do it. And then next summer, I'm doing 28 days in Alaska.
Alaska! I mean, I know it's
summer
winter,
in Alaska,
but
it's summer.
Okay, but that's the same as winter here.
It is, because we live in Texas.
I'm
actually knitting, you know, like long sleeve things. I know, it's so weird. And if you are a hand spinner, this technique is fabulous because A, you don't have to match anybody else's gauge. So you can knit your yarn at your gauge and not have to worry about not making.
Right.
So this is actually hand spun. I've been posting about it, so you may have seen it. But it's hand spun, and it's a yoke sweater, and it's got the same increase pattern as this, but obviously different lace. And yeah, so I'm in the body of it, and I'm cruising along, putting some short rows. Actually, there's short rows, and then I'm giving it a little ease around the hips. Yeah, because I mean, I do live in Texas. Yeah, and
so
again,
you move around a lot.
I do move around a lot when I'm teaching. But anyway, this is an excellent application for hand spinners.
It really is. I have a lot of hand spun yarn that just sits in my house, being the finished yarn being just the end of the project, because what am I gonna? I'm making my project for the crochet part of the make along for DFW Fiber Fest is in hand spun, but I do have a good bit of the hand spun yarn just sitting at home being its own project because what am I going to do with it?
Because it's a thing.
But
so I hope that answered some of the yoke sweater questions.
This class is a good trick.
If only you could get 6 hours out of Fiberfest, because she's the president. She doesn't get to enjoy Fiberfest like we do. She enjoys it in other ways.
Okay, that's a little
She can't take a 6-hour class.
My real hobby, though, is connecting people with resources.
Your hobby is community, so it's good.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is, and I really love that part. And every time I see somebody sign up for 7 classes, I think, 7? How does your brain not explode? But really, they would look at what we're doing to put the festival together and be like, how does your brain not explode with all of that?
We all go with our talents and strengths.
That's right, and what we enjoy doing. And this class is worth the 6 hours.
But if you have any questions about, is this class something that would work for you, feel free to comment below. You can direct message me, you can email me, you can contact Fiberfest.
You can contact,
they'll put us in touch.
Right.
I'm not hard to find.
Jen Dye's in charge of our teachers.
She is. She's marvelous.
She can manage while Elisa's out of town.
Out of country.
Out of the country. On the water, on the high
water.
seas.
Yes.
On the high seas.
Yes.
So, and you leave very soon.
Very soon.
But you'll be back.
Less than a month. Yes, I'm coming back, and I have enough of a buffer that should I come back with any unwanted things, I'll be better by Fiberfest. So you don't have to worry about that.
But that is
cool. All right.
We're gonna not. That is not happening.
It's not happening.
No. But I look forward to your coming back all and hearing all about your very exciting.
I'm looking forward to seeing cute sheep.
Okay. Yes. Cute sheep.
Cute sheep.
We're all jealous of the cute sheep.
Yeah. And yarn.
And yarn. All of that.
I'm wondering, is it worth the extra baggage fee?
You know, Miss Ruby says, mail home your dirty clothes.
Because Miss Ruby's really smart.
She is. It's a great trick. If you're coming to Fiberfest and you're worried about that, just mail home your dirty clothes and take the yarn home nice and safe with you. That's our best tip.
See you at Fiberfest.
Yes.